Would you rather see your team come very close to a win, but then let it slip at the end? Or would you rather see your team just embarrass themselves on national TV? I've pondered this question for a long time. So in this video, I not only set out to answer that question, but also explore losing as a whole. In an NFL sense, at least. Because for every game played, at least one team has to lose. Except for ties, in which, honestly, I consider both teams losers, but that's just my opinion. I hate it when they have that, third column to contain their ties, making it uneven with the rest of the 30 teams. But without further ado, I present the craft of losing. Losing comes in many forms. The aforementioned blowouts, heartbreakers, and just the basic losses where the opposing team clearly played better and there just wasn't much to write home about. Take this game from 1993 between the Jets and Colts. Just look at that final score. 9-6. This game should be remembered for just how unmemorable it was. But the fact of the matter is around 95% of NFL games ever played are gonna be like this. Look at this game from just a few years back. 12-9? The funniest part of this has to be the fact that this game was on prime time. Thursday Night Football is definitely something. But that's enough with the lame losses. Let's talk about the ones that will be immortalized just for how crazy they were. These are the games you look back on and just have a laugh. Except if your team was the one being blown out, that is. For this section, let's talk about one of the most iconic blowouts in recent memory.
And the unexpected winter scene in Foxborough, Massachusetts for Tennessee and New England. It's been raining all day with force, and it turned over to snow a couple of hours ago. And a wintry mix expected throughout here at Gillette Stadium.
On a snowy October day, the lowly 0-5 Titans traveled up to Foxborough to take on the 3-2 Patriots, who just lost the previous week to the Broncos in overtime. Fun fact, that was Tom Brady's first ever overtime loss. Jeez, man, that was when Josh McDaniels was coaching the Broncos. Clearly, the Pats had some baggage they needed to settle, and against who else but an 0-5 team. Flashed to the end of the first quarter, and it was 10-0. Nothing too shocking. This game definitely looked like a classic Patriots win, where they just controlled the ball all game and let up only a few points. But then they scored again. And again. And just wouldn't stop. Before anybody knew it, it was 45-0. Before the halftime break! The end of the third came around, backups were in, and even freaking Brian Hoyer scored a touchdown. By the end of the contest, the final score really said it all. 59-0. How does that even happen? Honestly, that's maybe the worst sports loss of all time, in terms of dominance and lack of dominance. The funniest part of this game is that the Patriots by themselves went over 20 on the betting line. At that point, I would just wrap it up for the season. To segue into the next part, I'd like to bring up what should have been a blowout, but ended up being one of the most heartbreaking losses of all time. Yeah, you guys know what game I'm talking about. Sorry, Falcons fans. February 5th, 2017. The Vince Lombardi Trophy is on the line in this contest. No other game that season matters as much as this one does. And by the third quarter, it's clear that the Falcons took that sentiment to heart, albeit playing their hearts out. 25 points differed the two teams. But if there was one thing me and plenty others have learned throughout their time of watching this sport, it would be to never count out TB12. The Falcons had to learn this lesson the hard way.
This is heads. This is tails. New England gets to call the toss.
Heads.
They have called heads. It is heads. New England has won the toss.
Toss to White. He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl!
That one had to sting. But as much as this one, geez, this one involves the Patriots again. Just 2 years before, Seahawks fans, look away. Coming off an electric previous season, capping it off with a Super Bowl blowout, the Seahawks showed no signs of slowing down as they cruised to the Super Bowl, winning in a heartbreaking game of their own just 2 weeks before. These teams were so close skill-wise that this was the first, and as of the 58 Super Bowls played by the time of this video's release, the only time there has been a pick-em money line in a Super Bowl. Wrapping up the third quarter, the Seahawks had all the momentum, leading by 10, but Tom Brady would just do Tom Brady things, and they would take the lead, giving the Seahawks only a sliver of chance to win this thing. But Jermaine Kearse seemed to make the catch that would be remembered forever. The reason the Seahawks would two-peat, but of course, fate always has a way of fucking around. Because everyone remembers what happened just 2 plays later. Some honorable mentions that could get their own video are the 2021 AFC Divisional Round game between the Bills and Chiefs. I guess 13 can truly be an unlucky number. The 2020 wildcard game between the Browns and Steelers, proving that blowouts can still be heartbreaking. I'm a Steeler fan, so this one hurt me more than most. The Rams and Saints in the 2018 NFC Championship, a clear case of highway robbery. The worst part is when you can't decide your own destiny. Sorry, Saints fans. When I think of cursed NFL teams, a few come to mind. Most prominently, the Lions. They've suffered so much. My heart genuinely goes out to those troopers of fans. It's definitely not for the weak. When I think of the Lions and their worst losses, 3 immediately come to mind. Yes, I know there's plenty more, but if we talked about all of them, we would be here about all freaking day. 2 of them just happened this past season, the reported as eligible game and the NFC Championship. I guess we can start with Week 17 versus the Cowboys because I guess that one hurt less? Jeez, if you have to compare how much a game hurts, you're in for a real treat. With 27 seconds left to go, the Lions would score and have a chance to tie it up against the Cowboys, but would go risky and play for the win. Wow. Who else but Taylor Decker to make the game-winning catch?
What else could it be?
Touching by number 68.
Wow. Okay, I think this time they should just go for the Oh my gosh. Really? They're going for it again? Ay. That wasn't even the worst loss of that season. 4 weeks later, the Lions were up huge on the 49ers, making it all but confirmed they'd punched their ticket to their first Super Bowl in franchise history. But like clockwork, it would go wrong. And wrong. Okay, how the heck does that even happen? This photo really says it all. How much heartbreak can a team go through? What about a literal record break making them lose? 2 years earlier, they faced a Ravens team on an 0-2 record. By the end, it looked wrapped up as the Ravens set up Justin Tucker for the 66-yard field goal. No one ever even hit a 65-yard field goal, so this looked impossible. But when the words improbable, unlikely, or even impossible get thrown around the Lions, fate finds a way. The Lions are the most cursed team I've ever seen in sports. I didn't even mention their 2008 season. Some dishonorable mentions when it comes to cursed NFL teams. The Chargers and this missed kick. The Vikings and this missed kick. The Browns in their 2017 season. Yeah, I'm missing a lot of cursed, but I know that. I just don't need this video to be 2 hours long, to be honest. The NFL has always had villains, if it be players or teams. No team matches this sentiment more than the Cowboys. In all my years of life, there's been few moments I've seen closer to world peace than when people root against the Cowboys. And some of their losses are perfect cannon fodder for such haters. To be more specific, their playoff losses, which leads us to last season's wild card round. Jordan Love was an unlikely successor to Rodgers, but through 18 weeks, he's done his job. But going to face the Cowboys off one of their better years, there was no way this one-year starter was going to go take him out, right? Honestly, it gets funnier every time I watch. But in terms of hilarity, there was this iconic moment in the playoffs. The Cowboys are definitely the most hated NFL team. But in terms of villain, we revisit a team mentioned all too often in this video. When it comes to the Patriots' losses, two roam in mind. I remember watching this game with no grasp that this could really be it for the Brady-Belichick era. But sometimes, even if you don't notice it, revenge is best served cold. And 2 months after this win, we had this. To this day, Tom Brady in these colors still disturb me, man. But if you flash back to 12 years before this game, there was this game. 50 passing touchdowns. 23 to Randy Moss in his 30s. Well, he was 30, but that's still in his 30s. This was maybe the greatest team of all time. No way they lose to this scrub 5th seed? What? And it looks like Eli just threw the game away. Okay, the Giants got away with that one, but no way luck strikes twice against Brady. Oh, what the fuck is happening? There's no way they do this, right? (18-1) has to be one of the most depressing stat lines I've ever seen in my entire life. But I'm not a Patriots fan, so I can still find enjoyment in it. Nowadays, the Chiefs could be considered the villains, and sure, they've had some bad losses in terms of heartbreak. But the Chiefs are still consistently winning Super Bowls, so fans can't be too mad about them. Previously mentioned in this video, I am a Steeler fan. And yes, that Browns playoff loss hurt like hell. But after doing all the research on this team over all the years I've been a fan, basically all my life, but that wasn't the worst loss. Neil O'Donnell throwing Super Bowl 30 away wasn't. For like the 1,500th time this video, this loss stems back to the Patriots. With 52 seconds left in the game, Juju makes this hell of a play, getting all the way down to the 10. And then
To the end zone.
I was hyped at this moment, but something loomed in the back of my head. There was no way this was happening. It was all too perfect.
After reviewing the play, the receiver in the end zone did not survive the ground. It's an incomplete pass.
Wow. That hurts. Let's just not mess anything up.
Tom fades. Here he goes. Third down play. Fakes the spike. Still has it. Now fires. And it's intercepted.
When I tell you I've never been more distraught and angry in my life, I truly mean it. Because holy shit, did that one sting for a very long time. But hey, at least 364 days later we got our revenge. That's all I'm going to talk about in regard to that season. We were 7-2-1! The third column strikes again. At the beginning of this video, I sought out to answer a question. What's the worst way to lose? Please comment down below your answer. But in my opinion, I would much rather lose 100-0 any day than have something like this happen to my team. Thanks for watching.
No good. Wide right.